Get up. All right. You mind adjusting your microphone? You're gonna have to pull it up from the base. Like unscrew it a little.
Right here?
Yeah. No, not that. I'll do it. Fuck it. I just got.
Right here?
Yeah. You gotta twist it and then like lift it up, and then tighten it again.
Is that okay?
Yeah. Oop, hold on. Why does it stop?
Family, once again, it's Yvette Carnell coming to you from Breaking Brown. What I want to do right now, I'm going to give everybody a time like I always do to get yourself situated every Monday and Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern time. Take a moment while you are kind of getting yourself together. Green. Take a moment while you're kind of getting yourself together and just get some popcorn or get something to drink. Get a friend, call a friend, do what you need to do, but you gotta share this video, please. Like it, please. If you're on YouTube, tweet it, please. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, take this time as we begin to kind of, you know, to kind of get yourself to kind of do that. Some of you haven't been here. If you haven't been here, subscribe to the channel. We'd appreciate that. Even if you don't agree with me all the time, it's good to subscribe to the channel. Debate is good. I have a whole lot of things with people who believe that, well, if I don't like Yvette and she pissed me off, so I'm not going to talk to her no more. That's not the way we do debate in this country. Hopefully, that's not the way we do debate with each other. If you have some money to donate to the channel, go to donatebrown.com, or you can go to breakingbrown.com for a monthly donation. Go to subscribe to Brown also, because I don't like, as I've said before, I don't like my only access to my peeps coming through social media. So if they cut me off, I'm just finished and I can't talk. So that's not something that I want for myself. That's not something that I want for you. A sneak peek of what I'm going to talk about. You know, good evening, Charlene. A good sneak peek about what I want to talk about today. I'm going to start talking about what we got to talk about. What we got to talk about. No matter where you align yourself politically, we are going to have to talk about what happened with the DNC on Saturday. Because I haven't talked to you since Saturday. I haven't talked to you since Wednesday. So we have to have a conversation about that. We have to have a conversation. There's no way around having the conversation. Okay? Are we good? All right. There's no way around having that conversation. So we're going to have that conversation. Let me just give a few more minutes for people to kind of flow in. So when they flow in, they don't miss what we're talking about. So they don't miss what's being said. So let me give them a few. I'm going to give people a little bit more time to kind of get in here and get everybody together. A few more minutes to get yourselves together and feel like you're going to feel. And oh, this thing's too close. It's like it's right there. So a few minutes to kind of get everybody situated.
See what's happening.
As with everything, I'm gonna have to frame it. So that's just the way we do things. I always frame it in terms of what I'm thinking about, what I'm looking at. Hey everybody, hey Sharice, hey Avant, hey how's everybody doing? Hey David, hey Shirley's in the place. Shirley's not. Hey Shirley, who saw? I'm gonna get everything started. What I want to do is talk about how what the Democrats did. You know, something that I noticed. What I'm talking about Saturday, the vote for the Democratic chair went to Tom Perez, not Keith Ellison. So what I noticed about that, one of the quickest things, and I know it was going to go that way after a while, but what I noticed was very interesting. Democrats have no problem. They will wage war at airports to make sure that Muslims don't get delayed at airports. But when a Muslim tries to seek power within the Democratic Party, they will smear him to death and make him a Farrakhan-loving, anti-Semitic, power-hungry black man. And that's what happened to Keith Ellison. It was very, very interesting. It was very, very interesting how the party that says it's so inclusive, we're the big tent party, just torpedoed Ellison and was like, no, not here. You won't do it here. You're not going to get no leftist power here. We're not going to put a burner in here. And one of the things that's great to remember about Ellison is that he was right. He was the one who predicted the ascent of Donald Trump when everybody was like, ha ha ha, you're such an idiot. You're so, ha ha, you don't know politics. You're just kind of new, aren't you? They did all that stuff to him. And he was right. And he was the one going around saying the right stuff, doing the right stuff. Bernie Sanders, from what I understand, was going around calling people, trying to get him in place. Bernie Sanders was going around doing the work. Regardless of what you feel about Bernie Sanders, he's still been doing the work. I don't know where Hillary Clinton at. She was probably the one who told Barack Obama to get in there. But guess who's not doing it? Guess who's like, people keep saying eventually to leave Barack Obama alone, but I can't because he won't go away. How can I miss you if you won't go away? You know who launched that? Who put those people out on Ellison? You know who sent the dogs out? Because Ellison, if you remember correctly, Ellison was supported by a lot of Democrats early on, including like Schumer and a lot of other big guys. And it was Obama who put his people out. And Obama made personal calls to make sure that Ellison did not become the chair of the DNC. Obama did that. He ain't even here no more. And he's still making our politics garbage. And so think about that. All those people out there who are Obama fans, you keep telling me to leave Obama alone. He won't leave me alone. He won't leave my politics alone. I can't leave him alone. These people told us in no uncertain terms, you will not have any power within the Democratic Party. You will not have any power within the Democratic Party. We don't care what you want. We don't care what you need. We don't care. These are the people, if you look at, when you look at Perez, it's good to give Perez some context, right? Perez was the former labor secretary under Obama. That's who he was. Let's put him in context. Now, something very interesting that he said, which is up now, what he said is that, listen, if Hillary wants to run again, we shouldn't necessarily stop her. Whoever wants to run in 2020 should run. He's trying to open the door to Hillary again. That's who the DNC just put into place. Somebody who's opening the door again to a two-time loser, one of the worst presidential candidates that the aide party has ever seen. She lost to Trump. I'm not trying to say anything, but I'm just saying he wasn't the best. I mean, who's she gonna lose to next? Because she gonna lose again. Let me ask these corporate Democrats. I know y'all want to hold on power, but how many times y'all want this white woman to lose and embarrass herself on a national stage before you just figure out that she's not going to be the candidate? How many times you want this woman just to crash and burn? Because she can lose again if you want to lose again. We can have her lose again. It is not a problem. What knucklehead do you want her to run against now and have her lose and embarrass herself? And however old she'll be, she'll probably be in her 70s and embarrassing herself on TV because y'all recruited. Well, if the door's still open, people should say, no, she's not running. You shouldn't be DNC chair. Obama going around calling people a dismal candidate, that dismal president that he was, going around calling people in the mix of taking pictures everywhere with his shirt unbuttoned, looking all single and carrying on, running around everywhere. He just and people call Obama ain't do nothing for you. What you doing some Obama stuff for? Obama ain't never did nothing for you. Obama didn't do nothing for you. And I just want to break down for everybody just kind of how awful Perez was. But let me just say one thing before I get there. There was a very interesting tweet. There was a very interesting tweet from Jelani Cobb. And I just want to show you how black spokespeople and black people in the media kind of play into this and kind of neutralize our politics. Jelani Cobb was basically like, well, I don't see why all these Democrats who say that the Democrats are the same thing as Republicans, are upset when they lose the chair. Well, that's kind of a silly thing to say. Like, think about it. The reason Democrats are upset is because they feel that the Democratic Party isn't further enough to the left. I feel the Democratic Party isn't on the left at all, but they feel like it's not further enough to the left. Of course, it makes sense for them to say we're going to move the party to the left by getting institutional power within the party. But Jelani Cobb doesn't see how that makes sense. What are you talking about? So are you happy? I would ask Mr. Cobb, are you happy with the state of affairs with the Democratic Party? I'm not. But when you look at that tweet, and it's great how the tweet was answered. But when you look at that tweet, it was just so silly. Everything is about antagonizing the left of the Democratic Party. And then when the left says, you know what, I don't want to vote for you, Democrats say, oh, well, you being divisive. What's wrong with you? We should just come together. No, we tried to come. You know how much you didn't come together? You recruited somebody to run against somebody on the left. That's how much you don't want to be together.
Tom Perez was sitting at home eating a sandwich, minding his own business. Minding his own business when he was recruited into this. He's never run for office before.
No. And they were like, we got to get somebody in there. We can't have this guy. We slurred. We slurred one of our own. He's a Democrat. Slurred him as an anti-Semite.
And he's a real Democrat. He's not even
He's
a
real Democrat.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. How many times y'all want her to lose and how y'all gonna slur? You gonna do this to your own because he ain't your own, really. Because he ain't your own. Like what?
He's a free Negro.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is what we need to do. I mean, it's going to come a time, and the time's going to come soon. As far as I'm concerned, I'm done. On a national level, I'm done voting Democrat. On a national level. And I'm not saying locally I won't do it. Because locally, you have a lot of people who feel like me, but just because of the way the system is set up in the state, they got to be a Democrat. They can't go independent. I understand that. But nationally, I don't care. People say, well, when Trump gets reelected, let him. You got to give me something. Don't give me no more redone Hillary stuff because you all want power. You couldn't even give anybody a DNC chair. But I just want to break down why Tom Perez is so awful. And you can break that down when you look at the rise of Uber. It's very, very simple. It's very, very simple. When you look at when he was labor secretary, what he oversaw in terms of the rise of Uber, it's very, very simple to understand why this man is a corporate shill and hack who we shouldn't want to have anything, who we shouldn't want to be in power of anything. I would not let him walk my mama's dog. I don't want him in power of anything. I don't want him to have institutional power, any other kind of power. So let's break it down. Let's just break it down for a second. Let me just break it down for you. There was a very interesting quote in The Hill. And, you know, if you're looking for this article, the article is titled, Labor Secretary Weighs In on Gig Economy. The article came out on February 28, 2015. And here's what Perez says. And watch this double speak. Just watch this double speak when he does his little dance for you, when he talks about the gig economy. He says, our current law provides a useful framework for understanding the rights and responsibilities of workers and employers. Okay? I am concerned that some observers have framed a false choice of protecting workers or promoting innovation in today's economy. In another paper, he said, well, what we should worry about is whether or not these people who work in the gig economy have money, because we've always had gig economies. I mean, we've always had people who work in gig, and the problem should be, and the thing that we should worry about the most is that whether these people who work in the gig economy have money. Now, what you're really saying to me when you say that is that we shouldn't worry about labor protections. Because the only way Uber exists is the people who lobby with millions of dollars. The execs at Uber who lobbied with millions of dollars were able to go into these states and undo decades on top of decades of labor law. They can only exist on a pile of burned labor laws. That's how they exist. Other than that, in any other rendering and any other reading, these Uber people could be considered employees. They would not be considered contractors, because that's not what they are. So in any other framing of this conversation, that's what it would be. It wouldn't be any kind of well, these people are entrepreneurs. And we so crazy, especially as African Americans, we get caught up in that. I work for myself, I'm an entrepreneur. No, you're not. You're not an entrepreneur, you're not a business. You're worse than a worker. I mean, you're worse than a worker, an employee. You're worse than an employee. You have no protection. Uber can deactivate you at any time. At any time, they can tell you your services are no longer needed. You have nothing because you're working as a subcontractor that you can do to protect yourself. And that's what labor law was about. Labor law was about protecting you from people who just want to drive you down and make you a low cost. They want to lower the cost of doing business. Lowering the cost of doing business means what? It means paying you as little as possible. So you see that cost keep going down and down and down in terms of what they're paying people, especially as the market gets saturated, right? That's what you see happening. And so this is the danger. The danger. This is the danger of having a guy like this in terms of what he oversaw. In terms of the gig economy, there's a very good thing, and let me tell you why Obama needed the gig economy. Obama needed the gig economy for a very simple reason. He wasn't creating no jobs. There's a very good study that shows that 95% of the jobs created, like post 2005 to 2015, and that's clips number 4 and 5. I
got you.
If you look at that data, what it shows you is that 95% of the jobs created during that period were part-time jobs. So what do you do when you're only creating part-time jobs? You let these people tear apart labor to create the gig economy. That's what you do.
For the appearance.
For the appearance of job. It's kind of jobby-ish. You remember when the little dude, you say truthiness? It's kind of jobby-ish, ain't it? That's the only way you can say that people have jobs that have money.
Just in case people don't know, compare the gig economy job with your dad's job.
You work at a factory, you have certain protections. Hopefully if you work at a factory, you have a union. People are down on unions. Unions protect people. There's safety in numbers. That's the point of a union. If you have a problem with your employer or whatever, you go to the union, you have a grievance, you have a hearing, you have health care. Okay? You have all of these things that are supposed to protect you in this job. And you know what those things do for you? This is what I keep talking about. They make you more secure. What you want in this life, stop chasing a Bentley. Stop looking at, I look at rappers sometimes and I say to myself, like, they look like little kids. And I say that not trying to be mean, but you ever seen a little kid like dressed in his mama or daddy clothes and the clothes too big and the hat too big? Like, that's kind of why I think of like rappers and entertainers. And I'm not trying to down them. I'm just saying, like, that's what I think. Like, your ring too big, you're too showy, your stuff hanging off your neck is too big. And we look at that and we don't see like, yeah, they kind of like kids. Like, there's no reason. What you need to be chasing and what labor law was about, it was about us being secure. It was about Americans having secure arrangements in terms of their labor and what was expected, and securing a large amount of the wealth from that labor. What is labor worth if you're not if you're not extracting any wealth? If the person up top gets all the wealth, your life can never be secure. And so an Uber driver's life can never be secure. And there was like I said, now when you look at the numbers, the reason the unemployment numbers haven't looked as bad is because you have stuff like Uber. So people don't count themselves among the unemployed because you have Uber. But that's not really a job. Just like the 95% of these jobs that Obama created aren't really jobs. Listen to this quote. Now, this study, if you want to look it up, it's a report by, Harvard and Princeton economists Lawrence Kratz and Alan Kruger. That's the authors of this report. And what they found was this. They called it alternative work. And they say from 2005 to 2015, alternative work soared from 10.7% in 2005 to 15% in 2015. Alternative work is replacing real work in this country. And the Obama administration and Tom Perez, who now is your DNC chair, oversaw the rise of Uber. I mean, it's not even just Perez. It's not even just Perez. Obama's White House was the Uber White House.
It's almost as if Obama doesn't care if you work as long as he gets paid.
He doesn't care if you work. He's like, what's going to happen is going to happen.
You should have gone to Harvard.
I'm just here for the thing. He oversaw all of this. You got to think. And if you're in the military right now, I don't care if you're white or black. The government don't care about you. Let me tell you how I know. You know what else? Bob Gates, who Obama kept on, who Obama kept on as defense secretary. Guess what he went and did? He went and did Uber military. They want you to come back from the military and drive for Uber. That's how much your country love you. They want you to go and try to put your life at risk and come back and drive for Uber. And what people don't tell you about Uber is the risk. You see all the people who have been hurt, attempted rapes, people, drivers and riders. And people say, well, no. I'm an entrepreneur and I'm a part of the ride-sharing community. No, you not. You picking up hitchhikers. And if you in the backseat, you ride with somebody you don't know. Now, I understand sometimes why that's necessary, but call it what it is. Just be honest with yourself. This is not no community and no ride-sharing community. This ain't no community. This is hitchhiking. Hitchhiking is dangerous. You might as well put a little stick over your back with a little thing hanging from it. And I'm not saying you can't ever have to do it. I understand why people Uber. I get that. But I'm saying understand the dangers of it. I'm not telling you not to do it. I'm telling you to understand it. And understand why it would be better if these Uber drivers, I'm not saying taxi drivers got the best deal either. But the ones with the biggest unions and the best unions got the best deals. I'm saying we need something better. A lot of people have pointed to co-ops as the answer. I think that's doable. But listen here, this guy that just put in the DNC, that's what he oversaw. 95% of jobs, no protection, destruction of labor law, massive unemployment, deactivated will. That's what he oversaw. And one of the things that's very interesting, there's another clip number 7, which shows like, and it's a BuzzFeed article. It's a very interesting, and let me tell you the title of the article. You see it up there in a second. It says how much Uber drivers actually make, and it says Uber data suggests that drivers overall in 3 major U.S. markets, Denver, Detroit, and Houston, earn less than $13.25 an hour after expenses in late 2015. Now listen, that $13.25 doesn't include the cost of driving. All this stuff, the cost of wear and tear on your car, the cost of all that. There was another study that found that between $3.50 and $5 an hour goes on expenses. So you making anywhere from like $6 to $8 an hour, and people telling you you're an entrepreneur and this is your own thing and you doing your own thing. Based on what? Even if you order Uber Eats, you can't even, they make it where you can't even tip the Uber Eat people. Like, somebody deliver your food and you tip them. There's no tip on the little Uber thing. So you can't even give people extra money, which costs Uber drive between $2 and $4 an hour. And Uber's like, well, we think tipping is tacky. Well, y'all making a bunch of money. This is what Tom Perez oversaw. Tom Perez could have put a stop to this and said, no, this is not going to happen. These people are employees. They need to be treated as such. He didn't do it. Now he's over the DNC. Tell me what you think about that. Tell me where you think that's going to go. It just doesn't make any sense. And it's not just him. It's not just him. Who else do we got? We got David Plouffe. We got David, who was also a part of the Obama White House, who went to work for Uber. And was like the guy who went into cities and did all this stuff. He did that too. Yeah, no, there are quite a few people, Obama people, who either went to Uber or they went to Airbnb. I don't know what that means, but it's probably not good for black people. The sharing economy. Yeah, probably not good for black people. To steal your pie company. Because why are you going to do that? There are black people are in the most precarious situation in this country. And to get into unemployment, well, we don't have any protections. To get into this, we don't have any protections. So there was a recent story not too long ago about a girl who was Uber driver who was picking up people around the club because that's when the clubs let out and taking them home, and she got hit by a drunk driver. Because that's the time when a lot of bad stuff happens at around that time, especially around clubs while people are driving and drunk. But that's what she has to do to make a life for herself. And that's part of the reason you're not going to see a whole bunch of educated people no more. Because they're wondering, like, you don't need education to drive Uber, do you? Do you? We don't have any jobs for you. We got little gigs that you can do. Yeah, why go to college? Why go to college and come out with $20,000 worth of debt if you're just going to drive Uber? And that's all the jobs they have for you. So they're saying, why go to school? Why go to school? What's the point of going to school? Just start driving. And by the way, your boy Plouffe, who did the stuff for Uber, he eventually there's a great I think that's clip 8 or 9. He actually has bought a house in San Francisco or something like that, probably. One of the most expensive areas in the world is San Francisco, and he bought a house, and it was a $7 million house. So when you ask me, well, what was the Obama's team was down for us, and Obama did it? No, they didn't. They were all about extraction. Obama team was mostly a bunch of white boys and Valerie Jarrett.
But Valerie Jarrett has a special place in her heart for the Negro.
She hates black people.
Valerie Jarrett
do you have a story about that, Army? Don't you have a story about that?
Valerie Jarrett hates black people.
That was a if you look, that was a Boston.com article where Valerie Jarrett basically defends being a slumlord. That she was the woman in Barack Obama's ear. Y'all were counting on Barack Obama, but she was the woman in his ear, and this is the woman who was defending her time as a slumlord. Right? She don't like black people. What make you think Obama like black people? African Americans in this country. What makes you think like he like people like? Well, he like Lil Wayne. Well, like, do you know that like what's the little man's name who accused Trump of having little fingers?
Oh,
Rubio loves hip hop too. Do you think he likes black people? Come on, man. He likes Obama. You know, he can't catch a cab. Oh my goodness, Valerie Jarrett,
Valerie Jarrett, man.
Valerie Jarrett.
She hit and run, no skid marks, man. Valerie Jarrett does not care
about you.
She doesn't care about you.
She don't care about what happened to you.
No time for poor Negroes. That's not Valerie Jarrett's life.
No, ain't got no time. And you think, and she was Obama's main consultant. She had his ear. You know, she had his ear, and you thought that he cared something. She didn't care. I don't know how many white people dislike poor black people worse than Valerie Jarrett do.
Yeah, my friend said Valerie Jarrett probably did more harm to black people than any like living Klan member.
She probably did.
Yeah.
She was walking around not caring. She's another mask wearer. What was Valerie Jarrett born? Like, what was she spent her time in Iran or something? She has a weird biography that doesn't line up with anything that happened with none of us. A very weird biography. I'm like, what the hell?
She was around black, like same way like Kamala Harris was around black people, but never like.
These people, you know what? These people are so conniving. Like, even people talk about Kamala Harris, like she went to Howard and you went to Howard. I think she wanted to do politics even then. These people are so conniving. Like, you like, well, I understand that, like, I'm Kamala Harris, but I know that my mama's this and my mama's like Indian and my daddy's like Jamaican and they're both professionals. I need to kind of bathe myself in like Negro-ness, American-ness, African-American. I'm gonna go to Howard and pledge AKA. You ain't fooling nobody. I mean, people have their plans for a long time.
Yeah, she probably sealed the deal with Willie Brown though. It's what you do for the team.
Seal the deal is right.
It's what you do for success, man.
That'll do it. A lot of people seal deals that way. Yeah. Ooh, y'all know what she's alleged to have done with Willie Brown, don't you? You ain't heard it from me. There's no alleged. There's no alleged.
No, man.
It just happened. That's how it went down.
Yeah, I was in Northern California. She was the chick. She was Willie Brown's chick.
Was she the chick?
That's how you get ahead sometimes. But, you know, she could play every field, right? She could also do that. She could also go to Stanford or whatever. She could also go to Howard.
You mean she has options?
I think Kamala Harris has wanted to be
Because her parents have a little bit of money.
No, I don't think she's got money. Well, her mom was a doctor, right?
Yeah, I think I want to date like a professor or something.
Yeah, okay. So she got two professional parents. So, yeah, she's got some money. But I think she's always had plans. And when you always have plans, like, I don't think it was a mistake that she ended up at Brown or Howard.
No.
Yeah.
And pledge. Because when you pledge, you can always have a sea of black women. If you pledge AKA or Delta, you can always have a sea of black women behind you. That's my ski-weed. That's my throw-up. Girl, stop. That's what y'all did with Loretta Lynch. So we're going to have to take on the sorors because y'all acting crazy too. I got nothing against y'all, but stop that stuff. Every time you see a soror, girl, that's my soror. You don't know that woman. You ain't never met that woman. You don't know what she's about. She's using your sorority against you. She's using your own sorority against you when you study throwing up ski-weed, school. Stop. Making those little high-pitched sounds anyway, they bother me. Anyway, They bother me. They bother my nerves are bad. I can't have all them little, even when I was at Howard campus, people ski weed, even people barking. I can't take all them strange noises around me.
Pressure.
Yeah, my blood pressure ain't never been right. I can't, don't walk up on me like that. I can't do that. Don't walk up on me. I can't do it.
So black people who hate poor black people. I can't think of one bigger than Valerie Jarrett. But is Valerie Jarrett even black? Yeah, she is. But I can't think of one bigger than Valerie Jarrett.
Somebody said Valerie Jarrett was born in Shiraz. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right. Iran. Can you point that out on the map? Where's Shiraz? Where is that at? Where is that at? What part? Where's that part of Iran?
Her dad was the first African American student enrolled in MIT. Yeah, first architect enrolled in MIT, African American. She's black. She just hates black people.
Poor black people.
She hates poor black people. She hates poor black people. And if you're black and you hate poor black people, there's a job for you in these United States.
Oh yeah, if you hate poor black people,
if you're black,
you hate poor black
and
people,
you hate poor black people,
oh my God! If I switch it up right now and change my politics where I hate poor black people, I get put on immediately. Just be someone smiling. Get a job. Get a check. You know, if you want to down poor black people and stomp on poor black people, there's a place for you in America.
There's a place for you in America.
But I want to take a minute, you know, black people, to talk about. I want to talk about something real quick before we get to these here phones. I want to talk about kind of why America, not just African Americans, but we're hurt more by being crazy. But it's not just us who crazy. We just hurt more by it. And we're damaged more by it because we don't have enough, and we come from slaves. But I want to have a quick conversation about exactly why that is. I want to have a quick conversation about why we're so crazy. Because people think, you know, it's the illusion of choice, right? Everybody tells you, well, we all have a choice to do differently. We all have a choice to do something, you know. But I want to show you, and I want to provide you with some context of how we have been deliberately manipulated by the powers that be to make us a group of people who are easily controlled. And when you talk about this, somebody gave me this idea to bring this up actually on my YouTube page. When I was going through the comments, somebody said, Yvette, you should really bring up Edward Bernays on your show. And there's a good documentary. It's on YouTube. And it's called Century of the Self. On YouTube, Century of the Self, it talks about Edward Bernays. And let's give some context for Edward Bernays in terms of who he was and what he represented. He was actually the nephew of Sigmund Freud, okay? The great psychologist, psychiatrist, whatever, psychoanalyst. He was the nephew. And what he did was try to find a way to manage what they call the bewildered horde. Isn't that a nice way to talk about people? The bewildered horde. They felt that like we were all, as regular people, ran by a set of irrational impulses. And that the best way to deal with those irrational impulses that people have, that drives them to make decisions, is to manipulate them to make the decisions that you need them to make. Okay? That was kind of how it was laid out. And they kind of believed that we couldn't be trusted as people. So democracy, so they felt like, you know, we can't really have democracy because these people might eventually elect someone that we don't want them to elect, or do something that we don't want them to do. And so this was the plan that they came up with. Now I want to go. It's a plan for social control. Just remember that. You're going to watch a quick clip, and just remember that this is a plan for social control. Let's go.
1928, a president came to power who agreed with Bernays. President Hoover was the first politician to articulate the idea that consumerism had become the central motor of American life. After his election, he told a group of advertisers and public relations men, "You have taken over the job of creating desire and have transformed people into constantly moving happiness machines. Machines which have become the key to economic progress." What was beginning to emerge in the 1920s was a new idea of how to run mass democracy. At its heart was the consuming self, which not only made the economy work, but was happy and docile, and so created a stable society.
Both Bernays and Littman's concept of managing the masses takes the idea of democracy and it turns it into a palliative. It turns it into giving people some kind of feel-good medication that will respond to an immediate pain or an immediate yearning, but will not alter the objective circumstances one iota. I mean, democracy really, the idea of democracy at its heart was about changing the relations of power that had governed the world for so long. And Bernays' concept of democracy was one of maintaining the relations of power even if it meant that one needed to sort of stimulate the psychological lives of the public.
1928, a president...
We're back.
Okay, I want you to just listen. Just take a moment to absorb what they said. Just take a moment to absorb what was said in that video. Happy and docile people, managing democracy, maintaining power through consumerism. So we have an impulse. We want some control. We feel like we need something. They give us a product that's supposed to meet that need. You feel like you need something in your life. You feel like you feel less empowered. Well, get this manly truck. You feel like you want to be one of the end. Well, this is what the end people are wearing. This is what's happening. And this is how consumerism is how they are managing us. That is how they are managing democracy and diminishing us. Okay? That's what's happening here. And that's what Bernays was about. And so you have to get into how that is implemented and employed in our everyday life. We see it everywhere. Where don't we see it? You know, you have to bring it to this. It brings us to a place where we never question the power arrangements. Because what we really want to do, if you really want success in your life in terms of, you have to have political success. We never question the political arrangements though, because we're too busy chasing stuff all the time. And we feel empowered by the stuff that we buy. So why chase real power when this thing makes you have power? This thing over here is like fake power. It makes you feel, it gives you the feeling, it doesn't last long. You ever bought something new and you're like, oh, I'll be so great when I have that. I'll have that new thing, it'll be great. And it lasts for a little while because it's not real power. It's fake, it's a fraud, and frauds don't last. You can't even, if you're dating somebody and they're with you just to get money, they're not gonna last. They can only keep that facade up for so long. So that's kind of how it feels to deal with fraud. But we don't really understand that black politics, good black politics, will never be delivered by consumerism. And so that's why it's so damaging, you know, when you think about it, to have these reality shows where black people are sipping fine wine and stuff, and you think, no, I want to be like her. No. Black politics needs to be real power, not just sipping a nice wine power. Black politics is hard. That's hard work. But that gives you real power, which is something that's sustainable, something that's secure for yourself. That's what black politics and black power really is. You have to work with people. It's not being able to sit at a fancy restaurant. Because what good is it to be able to do that? And your community can't do that. You either have to kind of go crazy and try to give a bunch of money or what. It's still not a good life. You have to work with people. You have to deliver any kind of power to us. To me, pay close attention. It's a short clip, but pay close attention. And how and how all you got to do. Well, I know that they're being. I'll admit I'm guilty of it too. Hey, Breaking Brown families, looks like our feed got interrupted. Before it got interrupted, we were having a conversation about Edward Bernays, and we were talking about Edward Bernays and his role in social engineering and being able to manipulate people and get people to do what you want them to do, when you want them to do it, how you want them to do it. And as a form of using marketing and propaganda kind of as a mode for social control. We were talking about how he does that and how we just played a great clip about how he keeps people docile and how he manages democracy. And while I wait to get people to fall in here, I want everybody, like this video, share this video that we're on right now, and share it with your friends. If you're new to YouTube, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. DonateBrown.com. You can go to BreakingBrown.com and sign up to pay monthly to donate to the channel. And you can also subscribe to Brown, subscribe to the mailing list. So just take a moment to do that while people kind of fall back in and because the feed got interrupted. So we'll give people just a moment to come in, and then we're gonna play a clip in just a moment that kind of goes to the heart of Edward Bernays, the psychoanalyst who wanted to keep people or who wanted to help powerful people keep people happy and docile, so that we kind of understand how we got here. That's important. Understanding how we got here is kind of important. So, this clip number 12. So
Came with a focus group study he did for Betty Crocker Foods. Like many food manufacturers in the early 50s, they had invented a new range of instant convenience foods. But although consumers had told market researchers they would welcome the idea, in fact they were refusing to buy them. The worst problem was the Betty Crocker cake mix. Dicta did a series of focus groups where housewives free associated about the cake mix. He concluded that they felt unconscious guilt at the new image being promoted of ease and convenience.
In other words, he understood that the barrier to the consumption of the product was the housewives' feeling of guilt about using it. They basically, on one hand, wanted to make it easy for themselves, but they felt guilty about it. So what you've got to do in those circumstances is remove the barrier being guilt. The way you do that is to give the housewife a greater sense of participation.
And how do you do that?
By adding an egg.
Simple as that.
As simple as that.
Dicta told Betty Crocker to put an instruction on the packet that the housewife should add an egg. It would be an unconscious symbol, he said, of the housewife mixing in her own eggs as a gift to her husband, and so would lessen the guilt. Betty Crocker did it, and the sales soared. Through came with a focus group.
All right, we're back.
1 egg, people. That's all it took. That's all it took to get women to start buying Betty Crocker cakes. It took 1 egg. That's it. An egg. Because they figured out that women felt they were being lazy. So they said, hey, how do we get them to not feel so lazy? How do we get them to kind of buy in here and not feel so lazy about what they're doing? They don't want to just put the mix in. Well, give them an egg. And let them put an egg in and they'll feel. But do you know how easy that is in terms of manipulating people? Just put an egg in so she'll feel like they're doing more work. Obviously, you don't even really need an egg from me. You just said that because you know that makes women feel like that little twink makes women feel like the egg is actually their cake. Like this is a cake that I'm making now because I put the eggs in. It's enough work to make women feel invested in making the cake. And once you find out what the trigger is for everybody, you're able to manipulate them and control them with like these social engineering. And it's everywhere. It's everywhere. And everybody's guilty, including me. You'll go to the checkout. Amazon's best at it. You'll go to the checkout and they'll have 5 other things you need and they figured out who you are because they follow you all the way around the internet. This is nothing but social engineering. That's all it is. That's all it is. And you don't have to worry about people popping off. You don't have to worry about any kind of revolution. You've already made people docile. So what do you do about that? The question becomes, what do you do about that? How do you address that? And I mean, I think it's hard because we're all so invested in it. But the one thing we have to understand is that these celebrities that we follow all the time, that's why they're there. They're not there. These celebrities are not there to make you feel to make you feel good about yourself. These celebrities are there to make you invested in products. That's why Diddy is selling Ciroc. That's why Michael Jordan sold shoes. And so you thought you could be like Mike by going to get, a pair of shoes with a little jump man on the side. You wouldn't get the same shoes without that logo. If they made the same China shoes, the same little Chinese shoes, and the same Chinese shop and left the Jordan logo on, you would not wear them.
Unless you were 6'6". And could run like a deer, you were never going to be like Mike.
You were never going to be like Mike.
That's
fine,
what we do.
Though. Be like Mike. Be like Mike. These people are here. Their total job is to sell you on the consumerism bill. That's why they're here. The minute they stop convincing you to buy garbage, they're finished. They're finished. They have to convince you to buy this trash. They have to convince you to buy these cheap products so some rich white person can make a lot of money. The minute they don't do that, it's over. The minute them showing up in a commercial doesn't translate into you buying stuff, it's over. The minute black people stop making Yeezy shoes cool, it's over for Kanye. I don't care what he try to do. You can't for Adidas. They're not gonna be bothered no more. You gotta sell the stuff to your people. Your job is to sell black people cheap stuff. don't care if it's garbage. We don't care if it's good for them. But that's your job. And you have to understand their job. That's the job of black celebrity for the most part. It's to sell us stuff.
That's funny because we just talked about another job that's really good for black people. Well, very lucrative for black people. Hating poor black people.
Yeah.
Do you see a trend?
Yeah. Everybody got to take advantage. If you want to move up as a black person, you have to be willing to either just trash and decimate poor black people or sell them stuff they don't need. If you want to sell some poor black people stuff they don't need, by all means, you can rise up. If you want to dog poor black people and talk about how everything that happens to them is their fault, or work in the White House to disenfranchise them and make sure they don't get anything, then there's a place for you in Americana. All those places. That's why there's a place for Barack Obama. There's a nice place for Barack Obama in Americana, because that's who he is. That's who he always was. So we're gonna go to the phones, I think. Did we put the number up? Are we full?
No. Let me give the people the number.
So somebody says poor black people being poor is considered lame. Well, yeah.
No shame in being poor. That's why we're here. It ain't your fault. It's not your fault. You're broke. You come from broke people and you're broke.
Somebody, Pascal Robert wrote, marketing is the only real American invention, and Gore Vidal reportedly said that. Yeah, that is. That's what we do. We just sell crap. America, and not we, because black people ain't, and it's just like, to me, one of the biggest things to kind of realize and understand, if you really want to understand this thing, is that these people who are up there are not up there to benefit you. They're up there to sell you something. So when you have Diddy in the early 2000s or late 90s in a song talking about Pastor Cavassier, yeah, he got a deal to sell you brown liquor. That's what he does. When 50 Cent is in every Instagram post talking about Ciroc, that's his job. Talking about, what is his effing vodka? And just Diddy talks about Ciroc. That's their job. And they do not own the vodka companies. Like I've said, 10,000 people like, well, he own a vodka company. No, he don't. He's a marketing guy for a vodka company that owns the factories and distribution. He don't own shit. So that's who he is. So you have to understand why they're here. And that they're just hired hands. They ain't got no power. You think Puff Daddy got some real power in terms of like Ciroc or anything? Like, you think he can move stuff and like really influence business? Like, really? If he was really like making that kind of money, he wouldn't be hopping around stages at age almost 50, hopping around stages. His knees gotta be bad. That he be hopping around. No, he still needs to make money. He still needs to make money. That's what happens. So, and he needs to make money the way he made money back then. He can't be like the Rolling Stones, just get on stage and just like, he's so old. He can't do that. He has to project youth to you, right? So I think that's something that we need to think about in terms of how we're being manipulated. There's no other way. There's really no other way around it. And somebody said, Phil Winter said 50 Cent doesn't even drink liquor. He don't. Like, if you read him, that was an interview with him at Esquire. He was like, I don't drink. But you selling that stuff to black people, to poor black people, to poor kids. You're selling that to them. You got all kind of images with you, with women, and your videos with drinks and stuff. But you don't even drink. You know why you don't drink? Because you know it's bad for you.
It's bad for you.
You know it's bad for you, and you don't want to put anything that's bad for you in your body. But you ain't got no problem selling that stuff to young black people who are influenced by you. What does that say about this person as a human being? Like, at least, at least drink, at least sell something that you do. He don't even do it, and people still buy it. How do you buy a product that you know the person who's selling the product don't use? Like, if I know you hate a product, how do I buy that product? It don't make any sense. How do I buy a product and I know you hate it? Like, if I know if you hate cabbage, but you're selling cabbages. Well, these cabbages were grown in Alabama. You don't even like cabbage. How you even know how it tastes? But he's selling you that stuff and you buying it. You buying effing vodka because he's selling you that crap. He don't even drink it. He go home, have a glass of water, and go to bed. This is a dude who's like in his 30s or 40s or some crap, and he still got muscle. Do you know how much it takes to still have muscle in your 30s and 40s? You doing a lot of stuff. You very disciplined, pumping a little steroids or doing something. You ain't drinking and stuff because you couldn't have it, and y'all still buying it. So we got the phones ready.
Yeah, we got it.
Let's go to the phones.
All right.
Let's go to the phones.
All right.
Hey.
Hey, how you doing?
This is Hunter Devin. I'm watching from YouTube. I'm getting like a lot of comments because I just wanted to comment on, like what you're saying is true. Nothing that's put on TV endorsed by black people is meant to appease black people. In my opinion, they already know we ain't got no money. So if there's a black person, if there's a LeBron James or Michael Jordan on TV promoting something, that's for white people. That's not for black people. Black people complaining about, they need to stop portraying us this way and that way. Like Shirley, she made a homophobic video talking about some Moonlight is about black men sucking dick, and it's an attack on black men. That ain't no attack on black men. White men are gay. They're gay, so they're gonna make movies to appeal to white men, the majority. This ain't about black people and black liberation. Black people need to get out their feelings. Oh, I don't want to feel like I'm being attacked on TV and in music. I don't want to feel. This is about money. White people don't care about your feelings. They don't. It's about supply and demand. They didn't care about your feelings when they put you in chains, and they don't care about your feelings now. What is going to change? Nothing. So I'm just real upset that Shirley made that video about Moonlight, talk about some black men sucking dick.
Okay, don't say that no more. Don't say that no more. I don't want to hear that no more.
Yeah,
you gotta take that up with Shirley. But you know, one thing thank you for the call. I really appreciate it. What I will say is this. He said,
I just don't think it's right. And you had her on your channel, so I'm like, well, do you support that because she's
No, I don't. I didn't know she said that, but no, I don't support it. I just put it out there. No, I don't support it.
No, Shirley's a free agent.
Her video about Moonlight. She talked about black men.
Okay, all right. Okay, you done said the DI. You done said that word 3 times. Like no, like do I support that? No. You've asked me a question, I've answered it. I don't support that. No.
Shirley's her own independent.
But she's her own person. She's free to do what she wants to do. You know, when we talk about most time on this show, when I talk to Shirley, we talk about immigration. She's free to do what she wants to do her own channel. I don't support that. No. In terms of your earlier point, here's what I'll say about black people don't have any money. Black people make everything cool. Right? So here's the thing. White people love to go and buy Yeezy shoes. That's the majority of who buys Yeezy shoes. But if black people, if they were not cool in the black community, they would not buy Yeezy shoes. Like they would not buy that. If the Jordans were never cool in the black community, they wouldn't be cool shoes. Go ahead.
Well, honestly, I haven't been to a concert in so long. I don't know how these things work. Like, who goes to Puffy and Lil Wayne concerts? Is that a black audience? I have
no idea. I don't remember last time I was at a concert.
Who goes to a Beyonce concert? Like,
here's the thing about Beyonce concerts. It's not just young women. Like if a Beyonce concert was like a Taylor Swift concert, it would be a different thing. Right. When you go to a Taylor Swift concert, it's mostly teenage girls and girls in their 20s. Right. When you go to a Beyonce concert, it's girls all the way from their teens to their 40s.
Okay.
And so the question is, like, you know, why are you here?
Like, even Chance the Rapper, are black people going to his concert? Like, I just don't know. I don't, like, who does he make his money from?
I guess he makes some money from people in their 20s.
Black people in their 20s, white people in their 20s?
Mostly, I don't know. It's probably white people. Like, a lot of white people. It's got to be a lot of white people.
Well, honestly, tell the audience.
How does somebody? I mean, what's the main audience for people like Chance the Rapper?
And tell the people how you make your money, Yvette.
What money?
Well, I'm just saying, just so you know, if you like what we're doing here.
Yeah. So what money do we make? Yes, if you like what we're doing here, you got to go to Donate Brown or go to breakingbrown.com to donate. But I was like, how you make your money? I'm like, what money you talking about? No. But tell me who is at this concert. I want to know. He said, yes, somebody said, yes, it's black people going to see Lil Wayne. Somebody said Beyonce has been in the game for 20 years. Somebody said, I have never bought Jordan shoes. But I always make things cool. Like, even if we're not the majority, like, nobody would, if it's not us, like, nobody would buy it. Chance is making money from the endorsements. He has endorsements? Chance the white people's rapper. I think Caesar says the white people's rapper. Chance is the white people's rapper. Probably. I heard one of his songs the other day. It was like, smoking weed or something, I think. I don't know, but it was something about something. I can't.
I just don't know who's buying the concert. Who's putting down $100 to go see these guys? Like a lot of people, but not me.
Did you see the woman who got evicted from going to the Beyonce concert, spending her tickets? Because let me tell you, how awful is it? You know, Beyonce projects, like if you look at her formation video when she's in the hair salon or whatever, and there are these 3 girls. One of the girls has purple hair. These are girls in the hood. So like you make music and use girls in the hood in your video. And you use these black girls who are in the hood. And so what you're doing is that you're connecting to black people and black women, connected to black women in urban environments in the hood. And then you want to sell your tickets like Adele tickets. Like how can you do that to black girls and then have your price point all the way up here? That ain't right. And so now black girls going crazy and getting evicted because Beyonce's in town and she's connected with them by connecting through the kind of hood, I'm gonna bash up your car, lemonade stuff, and then putting her price point all the way up here. Cause she know you gonna find the money. That's just kind of wrong to me. But let's go to the next call.
Got someone from LA.
Okay.
You're on. Hello?
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 Yes.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe I actually got on. I've been waiting for like a month or so. But anyway, wow. I just want to say I really appreciate everything that you do.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I was introduced by watching Dr. Boyce Watkins. I found you, by watching his show. But anyway, I live in LA. I didn't vote for Trump, but I do support what he's been doing as far as the immigration. But basically, I just want to say I really love what you guys are doing, and I've been trying to think of ways to get you out here, you and Iron Me, or do something, some kind of listening party. I heard what you said the other day about a listening party. So I'm trying to think of ways to do something out here in LA because you are desperately needed out here. And I've been trying to get friends to listen to your show, but I guess they'd rather watch The Housewives, so I've kind of given up on that. But anyway.
Well, don't give up.
That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate you.
Yeah. Tell the people.
Thank you.
Oh, there is one
okay.
thing.
Go ahead.
I don't know. There was a lawsuit here in LA, Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles.
Yeah, I remember.
How they discriminated against a black guy. So I don't know if you guys were aware of that, but I heard you say something about the temp agencies were discriminating. So that was another discrimination lawsuit that was done here in Los Angeles, and the guy actually won.
Oh, thank you. I didn't know he won. I knew about the lawsuit, but I didn't know he won. I appreciate that. If you don't know what she's talking about, that was a lawsuit. Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles, I think it's actually black owned, was sued by a black employee they were apparently giving the Latinos all the best hours and all the best shifts, and when the person complained about it, apparently, were let go. And so she's saying that they won the lawsuit. I didn't know anything about that the lawsuit had been settled or anything, but I did know that it happened, and that was interesting. But thank you, Carla. I appreciate all the kind words, and yeah, if you wanted me to come out to LA, you get me the editor at breakingbrown.com, and we can see what we can work out. I appreciate all the kind words.
Yeah, look, listening parties are a great idea. Get your friends together every Monday and Wednesday night. And, better than playing cards.
Yep.
Do the thing. Because we're still trying to grow. We got to get, look, before we get moving, we need about 50,000 subscribers. We've gotten 10,000 in the last 3 months, 10,000 extra in the last 3 months, but we need 50,000 before we're actually like a legit.
Yeah, before you start you start making like money, like, bringing in a few thousand, like that's not gonna happen. We appreciate all 16,000 though, but that's not gonna happen. That's not, you don't bring in nothing with like that yet. So
right. So tell your friends, nobody's doing what we're doing, and I think if you want a black politics that means something, we need more people to listen to what Yvette has to say.
Appreciate it.
Anonymous.
Uh-oh.
You're on.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes, you're on.
Am I on?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Hey, man, how you doing?
Good, how you?
I know. My name is Monica, or Monica. I'm going to have to say that I read across the videos and I'm very intrigued. I mean, it was probably like I wasn't in the Twilight Zone anymore, so I finally heard somebody speaking some real truth out there. It felt really good.
Not
Good.
the Twilight Zone
Good.
anymore. Yeah, that's what we're trying to do. That's what we're trying to do.
Good. Thank you. Good.
Good. Hey, I mean, the one thing is that most of the stuff that you're saying, I mean, it's completely on spot on. I mean, a lot of people, it cracks me up, but I'm like, yeah, I don't see what's right in front of your eyes, but you go in a lot deeper there than I think most people go into it. And the strategy that's going on with black people in America, it's like black people really are asleep. We feel we're not out cold, and we think that they're doing okay. And I thought about you the other day only because I was in Atlanta and I was at this restaurant and this black girl she was real nice, nasty. And she was talking about the food at the restaurant like she could just afford to buy the place. And I'm thinking like, well, we really not doing this, girl. We really need something. And I mean, I was just like, this is what Yvette talking about. Black people think they got it like that. Like, she's throwing 20s up, like she's paying for the meal, and her friend here is talking about food, and just they are not one step from being on the street and could be in waitress position who they're being nasty to. And I'm just like, yo, y'all better wake up, because if you don't see what's going on right now, like, they are structuring, you know, how to get rid of us. Like, to me, they've been trying to get rid of us because we got to get the product. But I'm looking like, the system is not designed to do food, and if you do not see what's really going on and stop thinking like, rock with this baby, or listen, he was African, not African American, you know? And like, he doesn't, he's not a part of this world that we're in. The world he's part of is the world that's going to keep you right where you are.
I agree. I appreciate it. I appreciate it, Colin. But I definitely I appreciate it, but I definitely agree with what you're saying, and I think we can talk about that waitress. We can talk. I mean, the woman and her reaction to the waitress, because it's like, it's almost as if like we've had like a lot of times if you live in a third world country, you live in a poor country, you don't really have that kind of access to rich people. Not all the time, not normally. But like in America, like you have that access to rich people. You see them on TV. You can go to the same malls. They're not closed off, right? So we kind of like think we're them and we mimic them. And I think what's coming down the pike right now is going to show us. I think what's coming down the pike right now, you're going to know who you are. And people are going to be like, you know what? We should have listened. We should have listened to people who were saying it was going to get bad, instead of just being like, oh, you're being so negative. I can't believe you're being so negative. As if my job is to like be your guru. I'm not Ariana Van Zant. I'm not my job to just spray sunshine pixie dust all over your head. It's not my job. And I'm not doing my job if I do that. I'm not being like a thoughtful person and a thought leader or a thinker if I do that to you. You're a grown person. You should be able to hear grown stuff. You're not a child. So, thank you, caller.
All right. Oh, 203.
Good evening, Yvette. This is Jamal Stroman. You called me out the other day. How you doing?
Pretty good. How about you?
I'm doing well. I want to kind of respond to something you said earlier. It kind of reminded me of something I thought about over the years. But you said that in order to make it in this world, a black person has to be willing to do some things that you might not be proud of.
Uh-huh.
Grimy.
So I have it's anecdotal, obviously, but I have a relative, we'll say relative, who worked for one of the big banks in New York City. And one time we were sitting around having dinner, and she was telling me she was in charge of recruiting. And what she would do at this big bank, if the name came across and it had a blackish sounding name, she would get rid of the resume. Told me this to my face. And at the time, I never asked her, how did she get that idea? Did she decide on her own to do that? Or was she instructed to do that? But I still think about that to this day. Like the fact that she's a black person in a position to recruit people, and if your name sounded too black, it went to the trash.
Yeah, I see that. You're not the only person who's seen it. I've seen that with black people that I know as well, who will throw away, who work in HR, but if the name sounds too black, they will throw it in the garbage. Too black, they will throw it in the garbage. They can identify you by your name as a black person, they will throw it away. You're not the only person, Colin, who's too that. Go ahead.
Her excuse to me was that these people, because this bank, they manage these trust funds from old money. She said these people are old money, and they don't want Shaquisha managing their money. They're likely to go to another big bank if they see that if you got these people named Shaquisha or LaQuasia or Don Quavius or whatever. So I felt like that was really interesting.
Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I think that's interesting too. And I think that's true. I think when we look at places like, you see so many lawsuits, right? From like Morgan Stanley, a bunch of other places where black money managers say that the investment house is prejudiced because we can't move up. And a lot of times what you're really seeing is not that. The people who are investing money are prejudiced. And they don't want somebody who has never had money to manage their money. Like they typically don't want somebody who, we know you come from slaves. You don't have anybody in your family. You don't have anybody in your family that had money. We don't want you managing our money. Well, white people, you don't know. That's how people are like, well, I'm white and I'm poor. But like, you can't slick by. Like, why you think that movie Catch Me If You Can about a white guy just lying his way through life, why he could do that? You could never do that as a black person, be that kind of scam artist. Because people immediately look at you and know you don't have no money. Like, if you're white, you can mimic it. And so you got to find out. Let me see if I can find out this person got money. With us, you just automatically know. Like 99 times out of 100 or 99 times out of 1,000, you ain't got no money.
Shaquisha doesn't have old money.
No, and so they don't open up. I don't want to. I know you don't have money. I know your people don't have money. I don't want you managing my money. I'm not saying that's right. Yeah, but I'm saying the best way to take care of that is to make sure we got some money. People like, you don't know what I got. We don't have. So it's just like, no, it's not just a matter of like people hating black skin. They want to be around people who have money, and who knows how money works, how it flows, and like we don't have any of that experience because we don't have any of that wealth, and job discrimination is something that's almost impossible to catch. That's why we need to look at outcomes. You can't catch why. Anybody can tell you, well, that's not why I did it. I tossed her resume because of XYZ. You can make up anything, and that's why it happens. That's why you need to have something like affirmative action or quotas to say, hey, you got to have these people. You got to have this many people here.
All the excuses in the world won't matter.
You just gotta get the seats in the bottoms of the seats. But none of that's gonna happen.
I want Negroes on the payroll, and they better not be named Kwesi.
Yeah, Kwesi Classic. No.
No. Kwame, no Kwesi,
don't count towards the quota. They don't count towards the quota. Nope. So. It is what it is.
You got to get that 1% Twitter up to 10% and fill it full of guys named Jamal and Daquan and LaQuisha.
Got to.
And if they're not trained, you may need to train them.
Yeah, be like, well, if they don't know, well, teach them.
Yeah, that's what affirmative action looks like.
Willingness to work is all we need. If they don't know, teach them. Yeah. They ain't supposed to know all of that stuff.
Because the truth is, let's say some hard truth. A few hard truths here. It takes 3 generations to make a career.
3 generations to make a career. How many you got? What was your ask how many you got. What was your grandmama doing?
What was your grandmama doing?
What was her life? What was her profession? What was her occupation? And I want you to look at yourself through that lens. Instead of looking at yourself, well, this is my one life. No, look at the life. I want to know about your mama and I want to know about your grandparents. Because that's what people normally ask. People normally ask what your mama do. And what your daddy do, what your grandmama do, what your granddaddy do, who are your people? There's a reason why when people used to date people, and like, black people don't do this no more. We just unintentional a lot of times with our stuff. But like, who are your people? I need to know who your people are. Where do they come from? What do they do? What kind of stock do you come from? What kind of money do you come from? All of that. And when you look at black people, think, what? We don't got no money. And it's true. It's not our fault, but it's true.
All right.
Yes, hello?
Yes.
Yes, how you doing? Yvette?
Yes.
Yes, how you doing? Listen, my name is Tyrone Collins from Hampton, Virginia. I'm just calling to talk about that guy who was kind of being
disrespectful about Shirley and her comment. Only thing Shirley was talking about was she said that how Hollywood was trying to feminize guys, and that was really about it. She wasn't talking about anything kind of foul. He was saying was kind of, gay, but she wasn't talking about that. She was just talking about how Hollywood was, feminizing the African American male. And that was really about it.
All right.
Well, I will admit it is kind of hard. Hold on.
Okay. Y'all have a good.
You too.
Y'all show, and
you
y'all
too.
Have a good night.
You have a good one too. I appreciate that.
I will say it is kind of hard to have bass in your voice and be on television.
We talked about that. Like a lot of people, Pascal just wrote something a little while ago. Pascal Robert, he's on my page a lot, right? I mean, we talk a lot. We talk a lot on my page. But you're not gonna see Pascal on TV. He's a 6 foot tall, like masculine black man. He's not gonna be on TV. So if you're talking about that, that's different. Like if you're talking about that you can say like you're only gonna get like the Eugene Robinson. Like, have you ever seen Eugene Robinson not smile? I'm talking about Eugene Robinson of the Washington Post. Like, you're not gonna get Pascal and everybody else just to be smiling. They're gonna be like, no, they're gonna be like have a range of emotions like normal people.
Clarence
like
Page.
Black men have a range of emotions. Like Clarence Page. Isn't he dead? Didn't he die?
Oh,
or did he?
he?
I don't know. I thought he did. Maybe he did. He's probably still alive. I can't keep up. Sorry.
But I'll be honest, being happy all the time stressful.
Yes, it's stressful.
It's stressful. But you're right about that, and that means something.
That's a different thing. It's just like it's just another case of like black people, especially black men.
You can have a range of white guys on TV.
Range of emotion. You can't be angry and be like a black man on TV. Like when you talked about Eugene Robinson, we talked about Clarence Page. I've never seen those
Michael
two
Strahan
men.
Even.
Yeah, I've never seen them like just like a white man can just be on TV and bang a desk. And it's okay, but like it's just like black men have to be kind of like, yes, it's just, did you see Obama yesterday? And it's just kind of like weird. It's just odd. So that's another story.
Let's keep it moving. We'll go decisions. 727. You're on.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello, Yvette?
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
Hi.
Okay.
My name's Anita. I love your show.
Thank
I
you.
love the interaction between you and Irony.
Oh.
Thank you.
She said my name right.
It's kind of long.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, great. My comment is a little bit long, and I'm hoping that you don't beat me up about it.
Okay.
When I listen to your show, you really make me think. You make me want to get involved, and you make me want to pull everybody I know that is black to listen to you.
Do that.
Of course,
that's a good instinct.
When we try to do that, of course, everybody is preoccupied, and they kind of think that we're naysayers, we're doomsayers. But you depress me a lot too. When I listen to you, there are times when I just can't listen because of the fear that I have. I know that Trump is saying all these things that he says to kind of deflect us from what the Republicans are doing. We don't know what they're doing to the laws while he's saying these grandiose things, and that increases my fear. But I have sat down and thought about it, and I'm thinking I have 8 different things that I think that perhaps we as black people can do as a unit to try to band together to perhaps stave off what I fear is coming. So the first thing I want to say that I think we should do is we should all, especially get our sons, life insurance policies with accidental death and dismemberment, because if we can make it less advantageous for the corporate system to continue killing us, if they have to pay us for killing our children, perhaps they will stop and think about it before they let the police continue to shoot us down in the streets. The other thing I think we should do is stop renting, perhaps buy a motorhome, one that we can afford, and that way we don't have to pay rent, but we have a place to live. We can learn how to take care of ourselves. There are so many people who are not of our race, who are living in mobile homes where they are not having the financial expense that we have.
Okay, let's move through them. Okay, let's move through them fairly quickly if you can. Go ahead for me.
Okay, I'm trying to be quick. Okay, the third thing is I think that we need to stop eating meat. Did you know that black people are the largest consumers of pork? And we complain that the police are killing us. We can make a united effort and make our dollars fight for us if we stop eating meat altogether. The truth is we don't need meat because meat is
Gotcha.
Keep it moving.
Gotcha. What's number
part of
4?
the thing that is killing us off.
What's number 4?
I'm sorry. Should I shut up now?
No, just gotta move faster.
Just go through 4, 5, 6, and 8. You don't have to explain them. Just go through them real quick. Number 4, number 5, number 6, number 8.
Oh, okay. Okay, number 4 is let's see. We need to stop cursing and yelling and carrying. We should carry ourselves as a unit. We need to 5 link together. Link ourselves and get the wheels in motion to be able to unify. There used to be a time when we see each other in the store, we would speak to one another, no matter where we saw each other. We recognized each other.
Yeah,
we haven't done that lately. And then the other thing is, I think we don't need to try to reinvent the wheel so much. I think we should recognize some of the people who have made strides, like Dr. Joy DeGruy, Dr. Claude Anderson, Dr. Africa. I think that we should take the good from their information and utilize it as a unit.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Lastly, I think we need to recognize the Black Code. When we see one another degrading one another, I think we need to call each other out. The Jewish people have the defamation group. I think we need a defamation group. We need to call each other out when we hear one another denigrating one another. Because if we continue to do it, let ourselves do it to ourselves, then everybody else will do it too. Now I'll shut up.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate your call. Thank you.
All right, let's just run through them. What's the first? What'd he say?
Life insurance was number 1.
All right, so life insurance in a gig economy, that's kind of a dicey proposition, right? So like, no, I know a lot of people are gonna say you don't know what you're talking about, but no, I mean, really, if we're as financially unstable as I think we are, like, life insurance is great, but like, it's better if you have a job because they're looking for you to miss a payment.
Yeah, it's just hard because it's just like it's just hard, and then they switch stuff up on you. Right. Like they switch it up. Like my mother has a policy, and they're like, "Well, you borrowed money, and like, but you didn't pay it all back." It's like you don't have no proof that you didn't pay it back like 20 years ago, or didn't pay it all back, or you pay. Like it's just audit. Like they switch it up. Like these companies are scammers. So you can do that. I'm not saying don't do it, but I'm just saying understand that that's gonna be like Army says a dicey situation for you. You don't know how to, and then the gig come. You don't know if you're gonna have the premium every month. You know if you're gonna have the light bill every month. That's the problem. If you can do it, I'm not saying don't do it. If you can do it, do it.
Right.
But understand that that's not a tool for community uplift.
Good.
Is what I'm saying. Good. If you can do it, it's a tool to benefit your family and to benefit your family after you die. It will not lift up the black community. Number 2, stop renting and buy mobile homes.
Maybe.
I mean, sometimes, I think it depends. I think if you live in the South, a mobile home might take up, a tornado might take your mobile home and slam it up against a tree. But, white people, you see poor people scattered. They're scattered like a mug every tornado season in the South because they mobile homes have been picked up and thrown. But I think you
don't want to go to Oz?
No, not the way they go. Not that way they go. I think you can. I think what she's speaking to, though, better is like living beneath your, like living under your limits. And if you could spend less, that's not a bad idea. It's never a bad idea to spend less if you can spend less. Like, it's never a bad idea. But it's just like the burden sometimes of owning a home and the cost of that is just too much sometimes. But if you can find some way to like not spend as much money, that's not a bad thing. Number 3, stop eating meat. Irony knows like that I don't really eat meat. So you got me there, like,
Yeah, eat greens, black people.
Yeah, like I don't
eat vegetables. It's good for you.
I don't eat, like I don't do it no more. So, I mean, so I kind of get what she's I kind of get what she's saying there. You don't hear me. You don't hear me. I don't want to be one of those people that's like that just hops on some type of thing and just like makes you feel bad about whatever you're doing. And I think a lot of the times people eat meat because it's
and easy.
Yes, the McDonald's is right there. The Wendy's is right there. I can't tell you, like, when I'm out and I'm trying to avoid meat, like, how hard that gets. You know how hard that gets. You be having to pack a lunch, and then you get hungry, and it's like, ain't nobody got no greens. Nobody got no, and then you get it, it's raggedy and nasty. So, linking up together is something she said. I think what she said about black people in terms of just, like, being cool with each other. Just when you see each other in the street, like, acknowledge that person if you can. Like, if right. There's nothing bad about that. There's nothing negative about that. That's something that's very easy to do, and we do need to have something where like we call people out who denigrate other black people and make them pay a price. I don't have any problem with that. I think people who damage black people, whether they are white or black, get a pass. And I think at a certain point you have to have some type of organization that doesn't allow that to happen anymore.
Actually, and that's why I think it's good to say, like, Valerie Jarrett, no, you've made a lot of money by being really, really grimy to black people. You don't go to the cookout anymore. And also, but this begins and ends with black politics, right? So what we're trying to do here is build a black politics. And that means talking to other, people you don't know or cousins you haven't seen in a while and figuring out how you can work together to make moves in your town or in your county, who you could push to make sure contracts go to black contractors, and who you could push to make sure that black people get paid fair wages.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Like, make friends with black people and like figure out how to make moves.
Because if we don't have anything else, we should have community, right? Like, not having community is us again thinking we white and we could go it alone. Like, go it alone. Like, we can't go it alone. We need each other, and it's about time we recognize it.
Yeah, and I actually form institutions. Eventually, look, we get to 50,000 subscribers. We could do a lot of things. Eventually, I wouldn't mind us being a political action committee with local chapters. And listeners, you guys would head up the local chapters, and we could do a black politics through Breaking Brown, and we could put some money in black people's pockets and actually do real community uplift.
Yeah.
Because this ends with black politics. That's all. That's what we're aiming at. A better black politics.
Yeah, if we could finance a tour too, we could put money in black people's pocket. We could have tours at like black eateries and stuff. We could do that at black bars or whatever, and have meetups. We could do it. There's a lot of stuff we could do. Yeah. Everything's not going to be like, well, that's going. There's no substitute for government, but you start where you are.
Right. And we're trying to build a black politics. That means we need to know each other. And
Exactly. Building a black politics means knowing each other. How you going to build a black politics? You don't know nobody. And we don't have any connect, and we can't exchange information. That's necessary.
Good. Does she have any more, or was that?
Huh?
Does she have any more on her list?
I don't think so.
Okay. Let's keep going.
Oh, she said something about not reinventing the wheel. Let me just say that real quick.
Oh, okay. You mind holding on for a second?
Oh, hello. Hey, caller. Hello?
Hello?
Yvette?
Yes.
Miss Carnell in Irony?
Yes.
I can't commend you enough on the
the great job that you all are doing on increasing the consciousness of Black people here in the United States of America.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
I think it was your previous caller that mentioned Dr. Joy DeGruy, and I would imagine that most people that listen to your show that tune in are familiar with post-traumatic slave syndrome, and if they are, then they should be sharing that information with their friends and family as well. But one of the main things that I think Dr. Joy does, and that what you and Irony are doing on this program, is really to allow Black people to heal and really what's a sickness into putting everyone else's issue and concerns before our own empowerment in this country. After everything that we put into building this society, I revisit Dr. Joy frequently, and most recently I was also revisiting Dr. Claude Anderson, and both of them touch on a need for Black people to really hone in on our own issues, because there was never any group healing. We were brought here as a group in chain, but we feel like we're going to venture out, on our own, pull ourselves up our own bootstraps, and somehow make it happen. And so I'll just, take your comments offline, but I just want to emphasize that, it's really important that as a group that we really hone in on our own issues and stop prioritizing other people's rights and economic advantage over our own. And thanks again for all your hard work that you guys are doing.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I think is there any, and this is what, and the criticism I get all the time when I talk about Black people need to start taking care of Black people, putting our interests first, is that, Yvette, you're not into solidarity. You're not about solidarity. I can tell you, I had somebody on my page today, like, you're not about solidarity. It's just like, but you're not, like, do you know where Black people are economically? Like, and the way we got here is by people not being in solidarity with us. Like, if people had grabbed us and said, you know what, you gotta do right by Black people. This is a joint effort. That's not what happened. It's not what happened. People kind of like stepped on our back and was like, "Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry." You know what I mean? Like, "Ooh, does that hurt? Oh, let me get up here." And it's like on our backs, and nobody's been in solidarity with us. So to be like, "Well, you have to be in solidarity." Black people don't have a responsibility to be in solidarity with anybody. Now, I'm not saying we won't, but I'm saying that you have to tell me something tangible that you're gonna do for me. Some way tangible that you're going to help me. I don't want to hear a nice speech about how much you love. I don't want to hear Gloria Steinem talking about how Black women were the backbone of the feminist movement. What are you going to do, Gloria, for Black people? Are you going to put on your reparations for Black people t-shirt?
Yes.
Are you going to do that, Gloria? I don't want to hear it. So this whole thing, I never really, until I started like really advocating for Black people, I never realized, like even on the left, it's not just some right-wing thing. On the left, how much antagonism you get when you say full-throatedly, I'm advocating for Black people, and I don't owe you nothing. When you say that, people go crazy. White people on the left go crazy. They lose their minds. They've never been talked to like that by a Black person. Who do you think you are? Well, I'm Yvette Carnell, and I don't give a damn about what you think about what I got to do, what I got to say. I don't owe you nothing. I don't owe you anything. We come together as equals. I don't owe you. There's nothing that I owe you. So I think the last call is just right. We have to put ourselves first, and we haven't. We've been the thing about Black people, it's just like we're good people. Like, we have a certain moral code because of what we've come through, what we've meant to each other, what we've had to do, and because of what's happened to us. And it's almost now like that moral code that we have is like killing us. It's like really damaging us because we're being so moral and giving so much away, and we're being so empathetic that we're not taking care of home. So you got to take care of home first, and then you can come out and say, how can we help each other? But you're going to have to help me with something real and tangible, not just we share the same beliefs and values. No. Contracts are not based on beliefs and values. They're based on a real, tangible exchange, and that's what we need. Right.
So we talked about before about like Black people who do grimy things support Black people in order to get on. And I feel like we should also name some Black people who are actually doing right by Black people.
Good.
And people and actually blow them up if you can find them. First of all, Sandy Darity, William Sandy Darity over at Duke. He's a professor, academic. He doesn't have to be good to black people. He doesn't have to dedicate.
Tenure.
Yeah. He's got tenure. He doesn't have to dedicate his work to black people, helping black people put money in black people's pockets.
Or just telling the truth. Or just putting the truth out there. Like this real data. He just puts the truth. The truth is what it is. Doing that work. Putting in that work.
And William Darity, his name is Sandy Darity. He's doing that work.
We talked about him numerous times on the show. Antonio Moore interviewed him. If you don't know him, look him up and look up that interview. Look up the show that I had with him on there. And it's some very good findings about how hard work isn't enough to close the racial gap, the wealth gap. We save more than white people, so saving isn't enough. Our savings rate is higher. We've been lied to. So yeah, look that up.
Yeah, Sandy Darity is a great guy doing good work, doing the work. I actually like Nina Turner. I like her. I think she's doing what she can do, and she's telling black people it's okay to be somebody. You don't have to be a Democrat like all the other Democrats. And she's got a right-hand woman, Tez Figueroa.
Okay.
I like her too. I saw her on television. I like her. She's her own woman. She's standing up for black people. She's not taking anybody's guff. Tez, that's Tez Figueroa, Figaro. Look her up. I don't know. Follow her on Twitter. Mention Breaking Brown likes what you're doing, and you're found about it. Like, these are the people we need to do politics with, because these are the people who are doing good work. If we have a think tank, I want William Darity in it, and I want Tez on the mic. These kinds of people. So, yeah, go ahead and comments. Go ahead and name some black people, either local politicians, statewide, or county politicians who you actually think are doing good work by poor black people. Because not just like bougie black people. I want black people who are taking lumps for poor black people. So tell me who they are. Comments. And we're going to take some caller.
Yeah, take another call. Yeah.
Hello?
Hello?
Yvette?
Yes.
Hi, my name's Dave. I'm from Youngstown.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. I did email you a great article from ProRepublica about charter schools.
Okay.
I think it went to your Gmail.
Okay.
But my comment is about Beyonce.
Okay.
Okay, let me tell you something. Black millennials, they worship Beyonce. They do. It's unbelievable. When Chip Rock insulted Beyonce, the Hive went after her. They went after him. And they always do that. When she got invited to the country awards, and people would start criticizing her about that, she was invited there and stands with right after the country awards. They love her. I mean, most of the black women who love Beyonce are Democratic, feminists, and liberals. And it's unbelievable. I can send you a list of some of these women, and I'll send you what black millennials are actually listening to, some of the podcasts that I listen to. You're not going to believe how liberal they are and fully brainwashed they are by the Democratic Party.
Right. Well, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Carl.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
We got media's. We need better media. We need better media. We need to control our concept. People say control your image. That's not what it's about, actually. It's actually controlling the concept. What's the concept? What's the meat in the content of being black in America? And we need to control that. What's the content? It's not just being like clean shaven and tall with good cheekbones and a little bit of dip in your walk. No, like what is the content of being black in America? And black people need to control that. And that's part of our cultural artifact that we could control better. But it takes money to control media. And I don't know. So, yeah. But it's important.
We have an opportunity here on YouTube, though, but only if, like, people pass it around. Like, that's how you get, like, 500,000, 1 million followers if people pass it around and you have influence. It's only if you can move something, but it has to be, like, the thing about it is it has to be massive because there's not big money following you. So, like, you know, if you can't subscribe, if you can't donate today, you know, share it. Like, that's your way to make a contribution to what we're trying to do here and the conversation that we're trying to have.
All right, let's keep it moving. That's supposed to have been on for an hour.
Okay, put them on. Put them definitely. That's a long time to wait.
You're on. Hello?
Hello?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, this is Shirley.
Uh-oh. What's going on, Shirley?
How are you doing?
I'm all right.
Shirley, you're going to get us in trouble.
I want to address what was talked about earlier when you were talking about wealth in regards to P. Diddy and how he obtained that wealth. When we look at wealth creation for black people don't focus on wealth creation. And that's the main problem. We don't realize that these industry people in Hollywood are delusional. They basically co-brand themselves with other entities, and you think it's theirs wealth. You know, I live in LA, so I was very upset with the Oscars because these black people don't realize most of those Oscar people, everything they got is rented. Someone's doing their hair, someone's wearing their dress, they're wearing somebody's dress, they're wearing someone else's jewelry, and at the end of the day, they go home in Uber, right? They go to the after party. That's why they don't wear the same outfit at the after party.
Yeah, okay.
You know, and so for me, I just think about wealth building, and that you have to realize that those people are dressed in a certain manner for that way for the event, but that's not equating to wealth that we're trying to live. So if you're looking to that as an example of who you are, you can forget it. You know, the whole thing regarding the caller who called in who didn't like me, it's all right, take that beef on my page. Don't bring it to this show. I think it's wrong to do that. But I will do this.
Thank you.
When you deal with the Oscars and how it portrays black people, Training Day, Precious, now Moonlight. Now, if you gay, that's your thing. But the fact of the matter is that what Moonlight is doing, for me, as a black woman, I love black men. I think black men are beautiful. And I'm tired of Hollywood emasculating us. I'm tired of Hollywood portraying black men in that manner. And that is what I was upset about, and that's what I talked about in that video. But I want to talk about black-on-black wealth again. When we look at Roscoe, the black man that owned a black business, I live in LA, I know exactly what that girl's talking about. It was $1.6 million lawsuit that he lost because a black man was upset over him hiring a bunch of Mexicans. And he's right. They don't hire no black people. And sometimes, not all of them, the one in Hollywood, they do have black people, but there are certain Roscoe's that had a large percentage of Latinos that were growing in Roscoe's. And the one apparently that this man won that lawsuit had to deal with that. And by the way, Roscoe filed bankruptcy after that.
Ooh.
So you can still conduct your business and have a BK about that. And I want to address one more thing before I hang up. I know this is not on your topic, but I'm going to bring it up. Nicki Minaj and Remy Ma, all I'm going to say is this. That is one hell of a beef. Because what is going on with that, what people ain't knowing, is that Nicki Minaj just lost a financial revenue. Ooh. Kmart just cut all of her clothing line over this beef. So y'all Google that one. Nicki Minaj just lost a whole bunch of money because Whitney cut her down to shreds of pieces. And so this is what's going on in the world today. Exactly what Yvette is talking about, that we co-brand ourselves with entities and we think that their wealth is our wealth when it is not. You have to understand that it's about OPM. How do you take other people's money and make it your money and build wealth? Most politicians don't know how to build wealth. They know how to pimp government to get wealth. Our job within our own people is to have a coalition that we're not bidding each other up, but identifying that wealth starts from going back to that era of Black Wall Street, of owning those entities to be better.
Okay. Well, thank you, Shirley. We appreciate you calling in and clearing all that up for us. We appreciate you calling in and clearing that up. And Shirley done told you, if you got a problem, you take that up on Shirley page. Don't bring that here, talk about all that stuff that happened on Shirley page, and bring it here and be like, we're not going to play the game of Yvette, do you agree? We're not going to play that game because I plan on having a bunch of people on the show, and I'm not going to keep playing the game of Yvette, do you agree? Yvette, do you agree? Yvette, do you agree? Okay? I think I'm pretty clear. I think I've been pretty clear about, you know, who I am and what I stand for. And I've been pretty clear on the people who I have on my show. I've been pretty clear on what we talk about on my show and the kind of stuff, you know, that I try to kind of guide the conversation towards. So that was a real good comment. Shirley said the people go home on Uber. Oh, y'all looking at the people who go home on Uber after the after party. You know, I remember seeing something one time. Money. You remember when Chris Brown was losing his mind after that little Karuchi girl he was dating? And they said he jumped in the Uber. And I'm like, look, Karuchi going home on the Uber. He jumping in Ubers too. Like, you jump. They such frauds. And Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles. Oh, there's a lot going on, Army.
Yeah. It's hard out there. Nobody's got money. I don't think black people have money. Like, I just don't think
they front so good.
And then credit's not helping, but then the bills are coming due. Like this post-Obama thing.
Playing a game. You remember that? What was that dude who was in music, who was an executive and killed himself? Do you all know that man's name? He was in music. He was like I don't know what he was. He was an executive black guy, and he took his own life. I don't know his name. If y'all know his name, tell me. What was his name? Because I think it's a lot of that going on. I think it's a lot of people who are frauds. And you know, and that's what happens when the gig is up. Like I think they're that afraid of, like, you know, the gig is up and everybody's gonna find me out.
Well, the one thing is everybody knows we don't have any money.
Well, no, but see, when you perpetrate all that, like you got money,
exactly,
and then it's like it's gonna come out that like you ain't got no money. You finna lose everything. I think you just be like, it's easy to put a bullet in my brain. You know what I mean? And that's unfortunate because we kind of have people in that position.
Right.
That's a messed up thing to be in.
We want a black politics where no black people have to front.
Yeah, well, no people have to be fake. You don't got to be a fraud no more. Don't come in here talking about, well, you know, my Mercedes is parked outside. I don't want to hear about your little lease Mercedes. Don't keep talking to me about it either. I don't want to keep talking about it. I'm going to have to talk to you about yourself. I don't want to talk to you about that no more. Don't talk to me about it like that's some kind of example of what, in a country, the rich country in the world, people got coal mines and defense contracts where they make jets. You going to talk to me about a little car. Don't make no sense. That y'all don't know what y'all talking about. I don't want you to see. I don't want to see nobody in a video. That's why I clown like black people who take Instagram pics with their little Ferraris and stuff. I work hard for this. You such a fool. You know, and so it's just that's what I do. I mean I just can't help it. It's just because it's such a fraud. And it kind of like you do the job that we were talking about Bernays earlier. You know, we were talking about in terms of manipulation of people, and black people are doing that job, getting people to, you don't understand, when you keep seeing these cars and jewelry, you develop an appetite that you didn't really have before for this kind of stuff. And that's a problem. That's really a problem. Oh, Chris Lightly, that's his name. That was the one who committed suicide. Chris Lightly, he was an executive or whatever, black man, committed suicide. I think you know, and I'm gonna be real negative here. Now to the lady that got depressed, like I want everybody. There's no reason to get depressed. Like getting depressed over this is like saying 2 + 2 = 5, and 2 + 2 = 4, and you get depressed. It's numbers, okay? It's numbers. It's just what it is. It doesn't mean you get depressed by it. It doesn't mean you should feel bad about it. We've gone through. If you look at the history of humanity. Through all the years that people have been on the planet, people have gone through some real stuff.
Right.
And now ain't no different.
And at least we have each other. We have each other.
We have each other, and we got a shot at trying to make something. But we got a shot at trying to move something. I don't mean that everything's over, but you got to understand where you are and what you're up against. And people have gone through worse. People are going through worse all over the planet. So come on, I'm not saying this is, you know. And sometimes people who you think are going through worse or going through better. People say, "Oh well, at least I'm not in some third world country." Well, I don't know, because in some of these other countries they don't go to jail like us, right? So they don't have as much. But they don't get caged up all the time, and they don't get their freedom taken away. So I don't know, but you know, I want to tell everybody, we're near the end of the show. I want to tell everybody, please subscribe to brown.com. You can subscribe. I want you to share this video. If you can't, I want you to like it. That way more people see it. I want you to like it on YouTube as well. And I want you to subscribe to the channel. You can go to donatebrown.com and donate. Or you can go to breakingbrown.com and make a donation all the time. You can donate $3 a month, $5 a month, $10 a month, whatever you want to donate. Okay? So, you know, we're building something new. We had a podcast up. It's on iTunes, and we're working. So check out that. I'm still gonna have the thing where I send out stuff that impacts black people in order to enhance political education, which is going to be a couple $2 a month. The intern is working on that. We got a lot of projects coming up. Somebody was asking me a while ago, like, how can we want to be able to do something to help people organize. So people asked me about that, and I think we're going to start a forum on breakingbrown.com where we might actually break it up in terms of, you know, in terms of regionality, where we can kind of have like little think tanks on the same page where we're all trying to to organize and do things in different regions. Share this to your people. Share this with your friends. Had a conversation. I know it's kind of isolating right now because a lot of black people are not on the same page, but just do what you can. And hopefully that's enough. Okay? So I appreciate everybody for tuning in. And we will see you again on Wednesday at 9 p.m. Thank